Next presenter loves big challenges. 2 years ago, Walmart Labs gave themselves the challenge to build an entirely new e-commerce platform for Walmart. Their solution, Openstack and the Rackspace Private Cloud. And as you'll see in this video, the results were pretty amazing.
I came to Walmart Labs to bring the cloud to Walmart so that we could solve the intersection of digital and physical.
We have a huge physical presence. We have over 11,000 stores. We are the largest retailer. We are a large e-commerce place, but there are huge opportunities here to solve. To do that, we use technology to the extreme.
When looking at cloud technologies, one of the early things that we ran across was a packaged release of Openstack from Rackspace. We started working with Rackspace Private Cloud, or RPC, and so we worked in dev, and 6 months later we were able to work in QA and staging, and we were in production with the Folsom release, so it was pretty quickly proving itself out.
We were changing not just one thing, we were changing not only the infrastructure layer, bringing a new OpenStack cloud technology, but we were also changing the entire application stack.
Openstack and bringing the cloud to our infrastructure was part of a larger Pangea project, which was a complete rewrite of our e-commerce platform. So this past year for holiday, we changed the data center, we changed the technology stack, we changed the operating system, we deployed on Openstack. All of these things which Walmart had never had before, and we had bet everything on getting Pangea right and getting it to production. There's always a giant run up to holiday, so taking holiday traffic and surviving holiday is a big deal for Walmart. As Black Friday began and the team started to assemble in the NOC, you start to watch the traffic ramp up, and you start to watch how the applications are doing and how the traffic is going and how the orders are going. Holiday traffic is 1.5 billion page views. Openstack was standing up to the task. So the team sitting in holiday, excited about having all the systems are up, taking traffic, we're selling out of a lot of top items. We're wishing we had more stuff to sell. It was an exciting feeling for the technology team. We had everything on OpenStack and we had 100% uptime. We had no downtime, and many of our competitors did. So Rackspace is important in the journey because they helped us jumpstart the program. So coming ahead in areas that we didn't have any experience was something that RPC gives us from the very beginning.
We are at a place where we are because of the strong commitment and help from Rackspace.
Rackspace's fanatical support was there for us the whole time. So whether it was an engineer or a networking expert or an architect, Rackspace has always been there to answer our questions. The future is always faster, always more agile. You do it bigger, you do it smoother, you have more features in it. And those are the things that allow us to stay ahead of the competition and to win at the intersection of physical and digital.
It's a great video, and I'd like to welcome to the stage right now James Downs and Amandeep Singh from Walmart Labs. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to talk about digital to physical here. We're not going to talk about e-commerce, but it is because we are not just an e-commerce company, we are the largest company in the world. We are the largest retailer in the world. So talking about physical, what is more physical than having 11,000 stores in 27 countries? What's more digital than having 10 e-commerce websites across the globe? What's more physical than having 150 million square feet of physical real estate? I don't know how it's going. Okay, this is where you look at. 150 million square feet of retail space, 245 million customers per week. We're going to talk about digital to physical. So this is, let's get into the history of our retail. So we started as a discount retail store about 50 years ago. We opened wholesale, clubs. We became the largest grocer in United States and in the world. We are a global company. Half of our stores are outside of United States. We started e-commerce about 10 years ago, and we are one of the largest e-commerce websites in the globe. Few years ago we realized, we had largest scale in the physical stores. We were becoming big in digital, but we were still operating in silos. So we had to kind of bridge this gap. There was the scale issue of being the largest retailer with the largest number of stores. There was this issue of doing something new on the e-commerce side because the preferences of the users are changing on a daily basis. How do you bridge that gap? So we had three main challenges. One was the scale issue. The second was you needed to change. We needed to be agile to adapt to the changing user preferences. And we wanted to use technology as a lever to do that. And my colleague James here is going to talk about how we started that journey and how we finished that journey. Or the journey's not finished.
Not finished yet, no.
No.
Not by a long shot. So, as I said, I came to Walmart to bring the cloud to Walmart and to bring Openstack to Walmart. And we had long conversations back at that time before I actually started at Walmart saying, well, what are we going to do? How can we solve some of the problems? Because back at that time, getting a VM was 5 tickets and took about a week. 2 years later, people are complaining when it takes more than a few minutes. We've got a bunch of our guys back here as well. So if these guys are partially responsible for doing all of this. So it started out pretty small, just a couple of people in the engineering group, and we started deploying Openstack into our data centers. So from that Alamo, Save the Alamo release that Rackspace had, we started deploying it into our data center and sort of pushing a greenfield area where we could deploy Openstack in an existing data center, an existing VLAN-based data center, an existing corporate data center, and just clearing out a space to do our new projects. Throughout 2013, we had Openstack in production on a very, very small basis in our existing data centers. In 2014, we rebuilt data centers, new cloud-centric data centers. Almost everything in those data centers are running Openstack, except for some of our bare metal things that are not very conducive to running in a cloud. We took holiday traffic this past year, 100% uptime, and as the video said, we sold out of a lot of stuff. So we proved out Openstack. We proved it'll take Walmart e-commerce holiday load, and at this point, we've earned the right to start experimenting with Openstack a little bit. The run-up to this point, though, sort of shows that journey a little bit as well. So you start with 0 cores, right? And the adoption of Openstack takes a little bit of convincing for application developers who've never done it before, for people in the data center who've never run it before. It takes time to say, yeah, it works. No, it won't fall over with your app. No, it's not a big deal to write something that works on the cloud. In fact, we run some applications in our cloud that aren't truly cloud applications, and they're little hard points in our cloud, less agile than you'd like them to be, but they still run just fine. And you see here as we get into, I don't know why I'm pointing there, you see here as we build the new data centers, we expand our capacity, we expand our number of cores, and we have this sudden jump for holiday, and that's to be expected as well. So we're running our own infrastructure, so we have to build it prior to holiday. So we see a run up here, and Amandeep did an article recently where we talked about the number of cores that we have, and we see we're actually above the number that he quoted. So we have about 120,000 vCPUs running in production today. And that's not 100% true, because after our run up to holiday, we start doing what you want to do in a cloud and taking back some of that capacity. So we've released 65,000 cores worth of capacity back to the cloud to be used for other projects that we're starting to onboard now. Some of our other properties, like Asda and Sam's Club, we're starting to pull into the cloud, not just Walmart.com. and full holiday build. So we've talked about some of this stuff already. We've got the new data centers, new clouds, new operating system, new application stack. We changed everything that you could. We threw them all into the air, new data centers, new operating system, changed everything, went to a new SOA architecture, rewrote all the code that we could possibly rewrite, and launched it in time for holiday this past year. So pretty risky move for a corporation like Walmart, but it worked out, and luckily, and so we still have jobs. And now we get to try things like other Openstack projects. So we're looking at Trove, for example, and we can play with Salometer, Ironic, Heat, name some of the other projects. Our partner in getting there, though, starting with one person or two people with an idea of, hey, we're going to put cloud into Walmart, doesn't get you very far without someone who has the expertise to help get you there. And we relied heavily on Rackspace to help solve our problems. So we're using a lot of their services as well for various things. So public cloud servers, we have some internal services that have basically just private data on it that's running in cloud. People come up and say, hey, we want to run something, we want to test something, I need access to the internet, I need to be able to do kind of anything we want. Great, you're off in the public cloud. We don't have to worry about it running in our data center. We don't have to worry about PCI or data requirements or anything like that. There's a significant amount of files, public image assets for products that are stored in Rackspace files. So we have a layer that optimizes them, and they store it in there, and there's somebody using load balancers. So just for completeness there. We obviously use mostly the private cloud. We started with Alamo. Obviously, you don't put that in production anywhere. We have RPC4, which is based on Havana in production right now, and we're in the middle of a conversion to RPC10, which is a rebuild of a lot of the way the architecture is put together. They containerize a lot of the services, going back to the previous talk, containers, and it's on a newer release of OpenStack. So we also have some hosted environments, hosted RPC. We have managed co-location, so that's essentially managed environments. Our fraud apps are run there. We have an application layer that's there as well. And then everybody talks about the fanatical support. It's actually true. They do actually really care about support. We like to have people around on holiday, on call, in our data center.
On Thanksgiving?
On Thanksgiving. Oh, what did I say? Holiday, yeah. On Thanksgiving anyway. And so it was nice to have a guy there from Rackspace ready to answer any questions that we had. And luckily for some of our guys, nothing went wrong, and he was able to just answer general product and OpenStack questions, which is kind of cool. So like I said, this has earned us the right to experiment. So we're experimenting with new OpenStack projects. We have a goal of building the technical ability to contribute to OpenStack. So whether it's fixing bugs or adding enterprise features to it, these are the sorts of things that we want to be able to do and contribute back to a community that we actually really do rely on quite a bit. At this point, we sort of backported some things for ourselves. Anybody who's running any versions of OpenStack themselves know that you sort of stop getting patch support after a certain point. So we backported some stuff ourselves. We want to start working forward and contributing back to the community.
Yeah. So until now, we have been one of the largest private consumers of OpenStack Cloud. We have, as he mentioned, 130,000 cores now in production. So being the largest consumer of OpenStack, we believe it is our responsibility to build that feedback loop, to go into the producers, which is the community which kind of stands out and builds the software which we're using for free. So I think this is the feedback loop which we want to build with a very highly talented team of engineers, which we are which we're growing on a day-to-day basis. We hired about 1,000 people last year, and we want to keep on hiring more and more people into that so that we can contribute for what we have been using already. Lessons learned.
Yeah, so we're going to try to give them back a little bit of time here and not actually take any questions. So
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.